This is Mick and the Phatman, and we're talking life and music from the 60s through to the noughties. Welcome everybody to episode 6 of Mick and the Phatman talking music. We're coming to you live from the Lugano Ferry, which is plying its way back and forward across the mighty Georges River, which is a little bit high at the moment, but the ferry's able to get back and forward reasonably straightforward. We're in the cabin with the captain, and he's enjoying our podcast here today. I'm here with Mick. G'day, Mick. How you going, mate?
I am great and looking forward to today's episode.
Excellent. And listen, mate, what have you been listening to this week?
Well, I had to listen to the first single by My Sex, which was "But You Don't Care." Oh. Came up on my on my mix on my music.
I always thought it was computer games, but no.
No, it's not. "But You Don't Care" was the first one.
Oh, there
computer
you go.
games came later.
There you go.
Yeah. So and. But You Don't Care, Triple J started playing But You Don't, Triple J, Double J, I'm not sure when that changeover was, but they started playing But You Don't Care, and that was all great. And then they had a live at the Wireless. You might remember that they used to, every week they'd have a band live, a local band, and they advertised, said, you know, we've got tickets, ring up and get them. So I got in, and me and another bloke went in and saw them live in the studio, about 100 people. And they were fantastic. They were a really great band.
They were an awesome live band. We saw them lots. We saw them at the Riverwood Hotel, the Domino. We saw them at the Coogee Bay a few times as well.
Sticky Floors Unlimited.
Very sticky floors and little poppy glasses. Remember, there was the plastic glasses for some reason. They used to break them. I can't remember. I think it was because they didn't want glass there.
And we saw them at Cronulla.
Yeah,
in that concert in the rain with Midnight Oil.
Oh, yes. We saw them there. Wanda Beach, actually, wasn't it? It was Wanda.
Yes, yeah.
Wanda.
Same father, different family.
That's right. And I used to remember they used to always hang the bass player when they used to do "The Man Who Dies Every Day," which wasn't one of their. Where's that song from? That's
Who Dies Every Day.
The Man Who Dies Every Day.
I know the song.
I can't remember, but they used to get the. It's a cover. It's not one of their songs. So for the life of me, I can't remember who did the song, who the song was written by. I beg your pardon. But yeah, we saw them a few times at the Domino. That's for sure. And we did see them recently at the Bridge Hotel in their sort of reincarnation. Wasn't quite the memories didn't bring back quite the memories that we used to have back in the day. They had the songs, but I don't know. It was okay, but it wasn't the same. I think was it Ultravox that actually had that song?
It was, yeah. They were a great band too. Yeah, until they just fizzled away and
disappeared. I didn't see them live at the Domino Hotel though, I must admit. But yeah, what a great band! What a great band! And that first album was an absolute ripper, wasn't it?
It was. We might schedule a bit of a talk about My Sex in the coming months.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Very good. Well, I've been listening now. This week I've been listening to the greatest TV themes of the '60s, and some of those great themes of television programs that we used to listen to. You know, things like the Avengers. Remember the Avengers? And the theme from Batman. What about Flipper? They call him Flipper.
Oh yes,
Flipper, and the Dick Van. My Three Sons. Remember My Three Sons?
Never watched it.
Oh, you're lucky. One of those. You know how they used to have those moralistic shows where there'd always be a moral in the story, a bit like the Brady Bunch. That's another great theme song. Of course, the theme from the Monkees we loved, and the theme from Get Smart. But I think probably the top of the pops there is the "Come Sit Right Back and I'll Tell You a Tale." Tale of a faithful ship that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. And, Gilligan's Island, of course, and the other one there, The Addams Family. Probably one of my favourite 1960s show. And also on this album is the theme from Hawaii Five-0, which we talked briefly about last week because the The bass player, it was the guitarist, was Carol Kay. Even though she was a bass player, she actually played guitar on that particular album. So something a little bit different. Theme from My Dream of Jeannie's on there, and the Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds are go.
FAB, Dad. No, never saw it.
That was always a great little number, that one. And just finally, I think the other great one that we both loved is the Jetsons.
Meet George Jetson.
Jean, his wife. Now, what was the robot called in the Jetsons?
Betty?
No, I don't remember now. It's sort of a square thing. I can't remember the.
Yeah, she looked like an upside-down vacuum cleaner.
Something like that, yeah. Anyway, maybe it's just called... No, Rosie. Was it Rosie?
Rosie, yes, I think that's right.
There we go. Pardon me. So you can see there's some great tunes there, and I'll put the link into the show notes if you want to have a listen to those and reminisce a little bit, because they're all great. They really are just great.
Has it got Bewitched on there?
Yep. It does. I love Samantha. I thought she was a bit of a hottie in the day.
Yeah, she certainly was. And then she went and played an axe murderer.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh.
Lizzie Borden.
Now, was that the first Samantha or the second one? Because there were two. Oh, no, there were two Darrens, weren't there?
Yeah, two Darrens, yeah.
That's right. That's right. Remember, that's right, because they tried to convince you that it was the same person.
That's right.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. He's different. No, same guy. Darren. Still Darren. Oh, it looks different. No. Oh, he had a bad
just different haircut.
Oh, he had a bad summer. Tough summer. All right, so let's just keep on moving. So what musical gem are you bringing out of the Globite school bag today, mate?
Mate, right in the bottom of the Globite school bag, beside all of the pictures of nudie girls, is Roxy Music by Stranded by Roxy Music.
Stranded by Roxy Music with sort of nudie girl on the front sort of thing.
Sort of, yes.
Sort of.
1973.
1973, what a year it was. Top single for 1973 in Australia was Tie a Yellow Ribbon Round the Old Oak Tree.
It's a touching tale of human love.
By Dawn, featuring Tony Orlando. Gee, that's good, isn't it? And there's You're So Vain.
That's a good song.
Yeah, not bad. Crocodile Rock's there. Delta Dawn by Helen Reddy.
This is so far. This is not anywhere near as bad as some of the ones you've read out.
No, but we do. Then we hit "And I Love You So" by Perry Como. I have no idea why Perry Como would be singing that, but anyway, he got into the top singles. And I think probably the top of the pops, which should have been at the top, is the Monster Mash by Bobby Pickett and the Crypt Kickers. I'd forgotten that's what they were called.
Indeed.
But they did the Monster Mash.
I think in some billings he was Bobby Boris, inverted commas, Pickett.
And now there's number 25, top single for 1973. Number 25 is Say, Has Anybody Seen My Sweet Gypsy Rose? Dawn, featuring Tony Orlando.
Wow.
So he's at the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
Gee, that's good, isn't it?
He's got a top and tail, as they say.
That's right. And in the top 25 albums, we've got number one was Hot August Night, Neil Diamond. We've spoken about that before. Also in there is Slade. Not Slade Alive, just Slade.
Yeah, with all of them holding out their hands, and it's like they're tattooed on their fingers or some such.
But number 14 is, in fact, Slade Alive, so we've spoken about that. Rolling Stones is there with Goat's Head Soup. Black Sabbath is there, actually. Brian Cadd with Parabaram. Do you remember that? I do. I don't remember any of the songs on it, but I remember the album. And Brian Cadd with Brian Cadd. Here's one. Here's a little link from the last time we spoke. Rick Wakeman, The 6 Wives of Henry VIII by Rick Wakeman. I had the album.
I'd forgotten about that one.
I had the album. It was, and we were talking about how albums can be very sort of, good to look at. This is probably one of the better ones because each there was like a book in there, and each song had its own page with knights because it was Camelot and all that sort of stuff. And very beautiful album cover it was. Lots of reading in there. And what else we got there? We got Houses of the Holy by Zeppelin. Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player. Oh, Dark Side of the Moon's there as well. And finally, Living in the Material World by George Harrison. So not a bad album year in some ways. A few dodgies, but Tommy's there as well. So that's interesting. That's the I think that's the recorded version, not the live version. So
the version by the Who,
the Who solo
cool.
whatever version, whatever
that live version was great.
That's right. So good bass player. Okay, so that's 73. So let's get back to Roxy Music. Tell us a little bit about the album, Mick.
I will indeed. Do you remember record stores?
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
In fact, one's just opened up the street, a record store, believe it or not.
Yeah, I would suspect it's a nostalgia.
Yes.
This is what used to happen 40 years ago type store.
Well, they've actually started releasing records again, so it's all a bit, the world has started releasing records again. So I don't know. I'm not going to buy a record player, but anyway, it does exist. Yeah, but yes, I do remember record stores very, very fondly.
So if you can remember back in those days, imagine a flare-wearing 14-year-old in a record store listening to a record through headphones, which was the way that we got to know about music.
Indeed, we did.
Yeah, because the radio didn't play very much interesting stuff, as any glance at the top 40 will tell you. It hasn't changed much, really.
No, 2SM was there with Bill Drake.
Oh, good on you, Bill.
Who, as we know, morphed into Holger Brockman on Double J. Yep. And now exists on news radio on the weekend, reading the headlines of the papers around the country.
Oh, excellent!
Yes,
excellent.
Good old Holger.
You always had a great voice.
Beautiful voice. He's a beautiful voice.
Yes. So I'm there in this record shop listening to "Stranded" by Roxy Music with the headphones on, to the gross embarrassment of my very conservative mother.
Oh dear, poor sausage.
Yeah.
Could she see the album cover at that particular point?
I don't think so. No,
just as well.
I think it was probably just as well indeed.
Can't see her letting you home with that.
Yes. So I bought it because it was a great album, and you'll remember that when we lived in our townhouse, we used to play it every morning pretty much, Amazona from this album, or something by Weather Report.
Yes.
Pretty sophisticated young teens.
Yeah, I like the Weather Report album. Very good. Oh, the one that we had. We only had the one, I think, from memory.
Yes, but it was good. Birdland.
Yes.
So, released in 73. For me, it's the complete and the best of the Roxy Music albums. It's elegant, it's complex, but not for its own sake. You know how you hear some albums more often than not called progressive, which you've got complex time changes and all sorts of stuff where you've really got to pay attention and to listen to it. And for me, that takes away from the music a little bit. But it's controlled, but full of a driving energy. I know I say that a lot about some of my favourite albums, but I would say that's probably a characteristic of my favourite albums, that they've got that driving energy, even in the slower songs.
Right.
Roxy Music is another one of those bands that, and we've talked about the difference where a band comes out with a U-Butte first album and that's it. Thanks for coming, and that's all they've got. Or alternatively, they start out like Queen with a good first album and just keep getting better. Well, Roxy Music was like that. Their first two albums, terrific albums in their own way, and they had lots of really great music on them. But they're both works in progress, which building up towards Stranded. They were developing a unique sound, but a complete environment. And the sound, the image, and the style, and the cover was an important part of that.
I love the cover. I remember when you came. You'd bought the record, and you came. We're up at another friend's place, and you came in with this album, and I wasn't that keen on the music at the time, but I certainly was keen on the album cover, which has this beautiful woman draped in this beautiful red dress, which is very wet. And she's an ex-Playboy model. Marilyn Cole is her name. And doesn't leave a lot to the imagination, but as a young teenager, I had plenty of imagination nonetheless. And
that's right. All we needed was a hint.
And in fact, she was married to a former Playboy executive, as it turns out, and she now works as a journalist, and she writes quite a bit about boxing.
As you do.
Why wouldn't you? Playboy girl, Playboy bunny to writing about professional boxing. So yeah, good old Marilyn Cole. Lovely photo, beautiful album, because it's one of the those sort of gatefold albums. So she actually is on the front and the back, all with the one photo. It's beautiful.
It's a wonderful photograph too. I mean, she's beautiful.
She is.
It is a great photograph too. And there's a whole different story which we won't go into today about how they did the photograph and and all the prepping for it and even the spraying of water on her. You know, had to be just so.
She wasn't expecting that to happen. She was given this beautiful dress, and then they wet her and laid her down into the dirt and took photos of her. She wasn't really ready for that. Yeah. And even, I think, ripped a bit of the beautiful dress. So, very interesting photo.
Yep. Well, it's fairly typical of Roxy Music's albums. Their first 5 or 6, maybe more, had featured beautiful women on the cover. Even the first one, called Roxy Music, had... in a 40s World War II type style, woman in a not really revealing anything, but a lovely face and a beautiful Alice in Wonderland type dress.
It reminded me of one of those sort of remember in the US they used to have the restaurants where the people would skate around. It reminded me a bit of that actually.
Yeah, I think you could be right there. Yeah.
They used to serve you on roller skates.
The album For Your Pleasure had a beautiful woman in an evening dress walking her leopard.
That's right.
As you do.
Of course you do. But I think Country Life deserves a mention because that album shows something that's not around as much as it used to be, and that's pubic hair. And I think as you know, most of the pubic hair on the female genitalia has ended up on hipsters' faces over the last 20 years as their beards have got longer and the pubic hair's got less.
Well, of course, that's only anecdotal. I can't speak for it
I can't
as a fact.
I can't give you a full rundown on that, but I think the world's changed a little bit in that space.
Yes, indeed. We might come back and talk about the
pubic hair.
Talk about the pubic hair. You can't really go anywhere after pubic hair.
No.
Well, that's the end of this podcast.
Thank you very much, everybody. That's the end of the podcast. We got to pubic hair fairly early on in the show.
Yep. This album marks the first time that a fairly a lineup change for the band. Brian Eno was a founder member of Roxy Music, and he contributed a lot of the energy and the unusual nature of Roxy Music, the discord in their sounds. Now, you've heard the first Roxy Music album, and great, really just comes bounding out of your speakers at you. A lot of found sounds, but there's a lot of discord with stuff playing against each other, and that was very much Eno. And would be interesting to know what people thought of the first Roxy Music album. It came bounding out of the box, really something different with all of those found sounds, using guitar as a machine gun.
When you say the word found sounds, what's that mean?
It means recorded sound effects.
Right.
From this, that, or the other, and you've probably heard of people sort of slamming doors and dropping things and banging on drums and kitchen, recording cars, recording motorbikes. That sort of thing is found sounds. Yeah. And there's also created sounds where they would use the synthesizer or the guitar to in this particular one, using a guitar to simulate a machine gun.
And I think was one of the early people who knew how to drive a Moog synthesizer, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Not many of them could actually program them and make them work.
No, because Eno saw himself more as a technician.
Yeah.
than as a musician. He said to himself that he isn't a musician. He likes the process involved in it, and he's been involved in some pretty exquisite processes. But he doesn't come in and start telling you how to play his instrument, other than the studio, which he uses as an instrument.
Yeah, and in fact, if you have a look on YouTube, folks, and just sort of search Moog programming, stuff like that, it is actually quite interesting because it's quite a complex beast to run, whereas today you can virtually make that sort of sound on your phone. Back in those days, it was quite an art form to be able to do it, and there wasn't a lot of people around who could do synthesizer programming back in those days.
Yep.
So was Eno on this album or not?
No, Eno's not on Stranded.
Right.
Eno was a key player,
right,
and influenced strongly the production on the first two albums, including For Your Pleasure,
right,
which is the second one, which has the woman walking her pet panther.
Yes, pet panther.
So the sound on that one is very lush. All of the stuff that we come to associate with Roxy music was there in a very raw form on the first couple of albums, and it's probably worthwhile talking a little bit about For Your Pleasure, because that led directly and obviously to Stranded. So it showed all the early signs of the slower sounds from later albums, repetition, moodiness, that sort of stuff that we know that is Roxy music. Still got a great energy. The song "Do the Strand," for instance,
sure,
yeah, where they start. But it's also some of the challenging content that Roxy music used to throw out. So it wasn't just the sounds; it was what the songs were about.
Right.
It was a bit challenging as well. In Every Dream Home, a heart attack.
A heart attack?
In a heart attack. How topical. In Every Dream Home, a heartache.
Yep.
It's a love song to a blow-up doll.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Touching.
Yeah, you float in my new pool, deluxe and delightful.
My breath is inside you.
Yes, absolutely. It's wonderful, touching, lovey-dovey lyrics.
It is interesting, isn't it? It's a great song, and the way it builds, it just builds this tension as it goes along. It's a really strong song.
It is indeed, yeah. And what made Roxy music very interesting early on was the musical tension between Ferry and Eno. Eno was very iconoclastic. He liked to say, he would often say, "Why can't you do that? Let's do it. Let's give it a try. See what mistakes are what make great albums." Whereas Ferry was very controlling. He liked the dressed up thing of style of the 40s and 50s.
Because I mean, he's another art student, isn't he?
He is indeed, yeah.
And was into the whole look and feel, look of the band and that sort of stuff as well, wasn't he?
Very much so. He's been into formal dress and uniforms. He went through a military uniform section,
that's right, yeah.
and dressing up in coat and tails.
I was reading a thing by Chris Thomas, the producer, about. And he was saying he got on well with both Ferry and Eno, but he was at a Elton John Christmas party, and he was on the stairs, and Ferry was going up and Eno was going down, and there was he felt like this meat caught in the sandwich, where as they approached they actually couldn't go past each other. There was sort of quite a bit of animosity between the two of them, and Ferry at the time hated Eno for whatever whatever they were going through. But they looked like they were actually going to actually fight, apparently. But then Ferry just sort of raced up the stairs and rushed into the party. But sort of it got to that point where they couldn't even walk past each other on a set of stairs at a party. I hope they've cured that problem now. But
I believe they have. Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, that's pretty hardcore, isn't it?
Both very strong personalities,
yeah.
And obviously both instrumental in creating the Roxy music that we know and love. But there's a biography about Eno called "On Some Faraway Beach," which claims that, and in Eno's own words, claims that the more likely reason for the enmity and animosity between them was competition for girls at the gigs.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it was. And Eno was winning.
Is that right?
Yeah. mean, if you see pictures of Eno at the time, sort of a bit androgynous, a bit made up, long hair,
quite thin
indeed, dressed in very, very wild clothing, and he used to pull the birds like crazy.
There you go.
Who'd have thought that, eh?
Who'd have thought? Because you think of Brian Ferry as being sort of the cool dude, the
suave, sophisticated,
the man about town type of guy. But anyway, the underlying undertow of sex through the 70s rock and roll scene is a very strong one.
It seems to be all we talk about.
It does get there a bit, but
it does.
But it was a thing back in those days, wasn't it?
It was.
Really was.
Yeah, very much so. Time heals all wounds, and Ferry and Eno get on quite well together and live near each other in the country outside London.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, Eno later rated "Stranded," the album after he left, as Roxy's best album.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was nice of him.
That was very charitable of him indeed, wasn't it? And I think he's probably right.
Yeah.
Eno was replaced. Eno played keyboards and everything else.
Loops.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. And he was replaced by Eddie Jobson on violin, who'd been with a few of the art rock bands, a band called Curved Air. Yep.
I believe you.
He did some nice stuff, but never really went anywhere in any big sense. But what he did was he brought violin into the sound for Roxy Music and added a new element, a richness to their sound, to their live sound in particular.
Yeah.
So when you listen to this violin solo on the live album Viva, for instance, you hear Out of the Blue. And
awesome.
That's really something that Roxy hadn't been able to do up until then.
Yeah. And I think he was in the lineup when we saw them live at the Ensign, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And he was pretty damn good.
Yeah. The first time we saw them.
For 2001.
Not the second time.
The second time, that was fairly ordinary.
Yes. Wasn't very good, was it?
No. Very disappointing. I think age.
Brian's voice was shot.
Brian's voice being shot. Overproduction.
The light show on the back was quite nice.
Yeah. Yes, except the fact that it was there to cover up all the deficiencies in Ferry's voice.
But he had two or four girls singing all the high notes for him. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
McCartney does the same thing when he has his drummer sing all the high notes for him. So he goes, Jude, hey Jude, and every time he has to hit a high note, the drummer goes, Jude, Jude, Jude.
Why not?
Just because his voice is shot as well.
It's that's what happens in life.
And a lot of smoking too doesn't do your voice much good.
Well, that's right. And Ferry's been a smoker for a long time.
Yeah. And McCartney was as well.
Yep.
Anyway, we move on.
This album, it's a near perfect blend. Given that it's 73, a lot of art rock. That was one of the things at the time in the 70s, and it's a great balance between art rock and rock music. The songs are a lot more conventional than those on the first two albums, but there's less Eno synthesizer washes over the sound. It's start finish band ensemble playing, great playing, but the song finishes then, rather than sort of going down rabbit burrows and ending up where you least expect it, a la In Every Dream Home a Heartache.
And what about Manzanera? Where did you see him in this album?
A lot of guitar sound in the album overall. I think because of Eno not being there, Manzanera stepped up and is playing a lot more straightforward guitar, and he's bouncing off the violin a lot. So they're playing against each other and with each other quite a bit. Him and Jobson.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, some of the songs, Street Life. Street Life's everything, all put in together in this melange of sound. And for a person who's looking for fame, who is so obviously looking for fame as Brian Ferry, his first lines are, "Wish everybody would leave me alone. They're always calling on my telephone." Thanks, Brian. Yeah.
Oh, you poor sausage.
Yeah, you poor sausage indeed. Yeah, so very ironic. But you look at Amazona going down what's on the album, that's very guitar based. It's a very a Spanish, a South American style guitar, and Manzanera is of Spanish background.
Yes, he had a great interest in music. He was because he lived in Cuba, I think, from memory for a while.
Yep.
Was his mother?
I think so.
I think his mother's Venezuelan or something. I can't remember now. Yeah, he lived as a teenager in Venezuela, and he ended up going off to boarding school and into the London in the 60s, and his schoolmate at school was Bill McCormick.
Oh yeah.
The bass player, and Bill McCormick, which we see in 801 Live, the bass player there, Bill McCormick, and his Bill McCormick's older brother worked in a record shop, and so Manzanera and McCormick used to spend hours going through all the records in the shop and stuff like that. So yeah, it's interesting, and also I think Bill McCormick manages Phil Manzanera's webpage today.
It's important to stay in touch.
And also Phil Collins. I don't know, just does.
Yeah. Phil Collins is a sad story, which we might talk about when we talk about Genesis.
We should definitely talk about Genesis at some point.
Definitely. But since you're asking about Manzanera, what's important with this album is that it's not any one instrument. It's probably the only time where Ferry isn't the dominant instrument, whether that's voice or piano or whatever. As we go along after this album, Ferry very much becomes Roxy music.
Yeah.
This album is very much a group playing at their peak.
Yep.
Ensemble.
Jump the shark.
Yes, they've jumped the shark. Yes. Yeah. So band playing together, as I said, violin playing with guitar, a lot of piano, a lot of the band working together, playing off each other, trying to get different sounds, but nothing too unusual. What they went for, and what they got is a very unified sound. Not unusual, just great.
Yeah. So what else is on side 2?
So to Serenade.
Oh yeah.
Right, and again, you start off. They're all love songs in their own way, and Ferry's very good at writing love songs because that's the persona that he pitches himself at,
right.
Being the suave, sophisticated ladies' man. And even in his own solo work, the songs he picks very much in the main love songs directed at women.
Come on, let's stick together.
Yeah.
You know, he made a vow.
Indeed.
Great song. Not really.
So you got Song for Europe.
Yep.
On number 2. Here as I sit in this antique cafe, thinking of you, and I watch Notre Dame cast a long, lonely shadow over the Seine. Oh, you can just see it, can't you?
Look, I could think of worse places to be.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I could see myself sitting there, maybe having a little glass of rosé, after just having a little croque monsieur for lunch, a glass of rosé, and just watching the river glide by. I could think of that. I could do that.
Gliding by. That's what it does in the song. So
there you go.
Wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah. So I could do that. If we're ever allowed out of Australia again, we should pop over to Paris and find a little cafe near Notre Dame and sit there and have ourselves a little glass of wine and a little nibble of some description.
I know that my wife will be up for that.
Maybe a bit of pâté. That would be nice. And a little bit of foie gras. I know we're not supposed to talk about foie gras much, but I love foie gras.
Yeah.
And that would be lovely.
And the French are nothing if politically incorrect.
Oh, totally incorrect.
Yeah.
I mean, they love their ducks. They just like making their livers really big.
Indeed. Yeah. What can you say?
And they're big. Have you seen them?
French ducks.
No, not the ducks. The livers. They're like a football. They're monstrous. That's all that force feeding doesn't the world of good.
Yeah, and so we'll start a new podcast. Mick and the Phatman talk animal rights.
But I did have some foie gras, medium rare, with a dark chocolate sauce in a restaurant in France once, and it was very, very, very good.
Yes, yes. Very good is not a word that we use with everything that Roxy Music recorded after this album.
So what was after this album?
This
Siren?
Siren, then Viva. Avalon, Flesh and Blood, all of which had some good stuff on them, but increasingly they were dominated by Brian Ferry, who called the tunes, as he did on his own private, his solo stuff.
Fair enough too, I guess.
Yeah, look, if you're the boss, you can do that.
Yeah.
But he took over that band, and I think it cost them a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. If you think it's your band rather than being part of a band, they're two different things, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah.
And if you're not, and I think, I was listening to a book. I know you're supposed to read them, but I tend to do that. They were talking about the Beatles in when they first went over to America and how they were in fact a band, which wasn't as common as you like to think in America at the time. They had boy bands and girl bands, but they had very few bands, and they were. And the thing that people had to understand was that when they interviewed the Beatles, you got the band, not John Lennon, not Paul McCartney. You got a band, and I think that's where this is different. Where as time moved on, the band became Brian Ferry. That's all there is to it. I remember when they came out that second time. I can't remember what the year was when we saw them the second time.
11.
It was Ferry was the only person interviewed around the countryside, and
exactly.
And it wasn't very good.
So when we did see them live, they did a good range of stuff through their career right from the start, and they opened the show with Remake, Remodel, which is from the first album. Really great, sort of.
You're talking about the first time we saw them?
The first time we saw them, yeah.
At the Entertainment Centre.
Yes.
Not at the Horden Pavilion, which is where we've seen everything else up until this podcast.
Progression.
We've moved on. We've gone from 5,000 to 12,000, I think.
Is that the capacity of the Entertainment?
When it was there.
It's gone now.
And now they've knocked it down and they've built one with a capacity of 8,000.
I think that's great.
9,000. Well, they've lost about 3,000, I think, off the number of people. And I mean, obviously, the government would know how many people you need to put into a rock and roll venue, but
well, they would. And I think that
Gladys Berejiklian, she's a rocker.
Well, she is, and certainly all the people she's got working for her are of a mind, and they love to knock stuff down.
They're very good at it.
Yeah, they're very good at it. And I wasn't aware of the difference in capacity. Let's knock a big one down and put a small one up.
Smaller one, and all the promoters were going, no, we need a big. If we want to make money and not charge everybody an arm and a leg, we need a bigger one. They said, no, you don't. Just as we know.
Yeah,
we're politicians.
Yeah, that's right. We know about everything.
We're politicians, and we're totally getting rooted by the development in the developers in this country, in this state. So, anyway,
well, ticket prices. I was looking, and I saw a picture of a ticket when Bowie played in 1978. In where was he? It was at the showground. And the ticket was $30. Now you pay, without even thinking about it, you pay $150 these days.
What did we pay for Queen? Was it $12?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I think it was $12, and
you
now
pay
$200. You're paying $150 just to get into to see something like Hamilton or something like that.
True. Yes, very true.
So if you're going to see a concert that costs millions of dollars to bring these bands out, you're going to be paying $200 minimum, and that's to be outside.
And that's where it's important to have a smaller venue so you can charge more to each individual person.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Yep.
But the problem is, I must admit, if you're up the back end of the bloody entertainment centre, you didn't exactly have a good view, did you?
It wasn't a great venue.
No.
It was just big.
It was just big. It was just a barn. So all you did was you watched the video screen, because that's all you could see. You'd see a little person down the bottom. You watch the video screen, which you might as well go and watch it on telly at home.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Anyway. That's my rant.
All of which is a long way of getting to. We were watching Roxy Music when they started with Remake, Remodel.
We were.
And to show how they developed as a band, one of the things that with the music that we've talked about, we often talk about they get to a certain album and they've jumped the shark, and that's about it, and they go downhill. And Roxy Music was no different. I was a fanatical Roxy Music fan up until Stranded. I liked Viva.
Viva was good, I reckon.
Viva was good, but I don't think they reached the peaks of Stranded. And so they started off with a song from their first album. You and I looked at each other. We were ecstatic, when they started playing it. And some clown who probably only heard the last 2 or 3 singles that they'd released yelled out, "Play something good."
Oh, yeah. It's embarrassing, isn't it?
It is embarrassing to think that person lives in the same city.
They may not. They may not.
He may not. He might have flown down here from Brisbane.
Look, every chance from Logan City, I would suggest.
Yep.
Yeah. But that was a good concert, I must admit. That was a good concert.
It was indeed. Yep.
I wish we should have actually hunted down for the play order for that too. I didn't think to do that.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It certainly covered a good range of their early stuff, and they were keen to show that they still had it.
Yeah, and they did a good job. And I tend to think, I don't know, what do you think about when bands do the tour, like when they're past their best, aren't they? But are they doing it for their fans or are they doing it for the money? What do you?
Oh, that's a tough question. I really don't know. I mean, it's hard to see that a band, that's lived the high life would then later on want to do anything for money. I mean, gee.
Yeah, true. Particularly if they and the thing with a lot of those bands is that they haven't necessarily pissed the money up the wall, but their manager has on their behalf, and they haven't got 2 bob to rub together.
Yeah. Look, you can't be too unfair because the fans want to see them, even if they're not as good as they were, and sometimes that can be disappointing. Sometimes it can be great, particularly if you didn't get the chance to see them when you were young.
Yeah.
And it's if they make a few bucks out of it, happy days.
Yeah, fair enough. So I was just so interesting. I'm just looking at I've actually just received in the mail only a few moments ago the Australian Chart Book 1970 to 1992, which is compiled by David Kent of David Kent Music, and who used to manage all the charts. And I've just turned to Roxy Music, and interestingly, of their albums, the highest rating album was Avalon, which actually got to number 1. Yeah. Followed by Siren, then The High Road. I don't think I've ever heard The High Road. Have you ever listened to The High Road?
No.
Followed by Manifesto, and then Viva Roxy, actually.
Well, Viva's okay, but that's what, 5th or 6th down the line.
Way down the line. The Ultimate Collection with Brian Ferry got to number 9 on the Australian charts. The album did anyway.
It was a bit of Roxy and Hard Rain's Gonna Fall.
And then if we look at Stranded, 33 it got to at least it got somewhere on the charts. But their highest rating song was Jealous Guy.
Yeah.
Followed by More Than This.
Yeah, look, I think that's pretty sad. Jealous Guy, yeah. One of the most innovative bands to come out of Britain in the 70s. Interesting, unusual styling, something that people haven't actually heard before. Thought it was a great idea to put out a single to commemorate John Lennon's murder.
Unfortunate timing.
For who?
John Lennon's murder.
Yes.
It's unfortunate time.
Yes.
For John Lennon anyway.
Yeah.
It's anyway, just goes to show that a lot of the time people's tastes are up their arse. I mean, I know this is a fairly subjective thing, but they're wrong and we're right.
It's our podcast.
It's our podcast. And if you think Jealous Guy was good, you're a fuckwit. And I'd just like to end on that note. And I thank you, Michael, for another exciting podcast. And I think we'll call it quits for the day.
I think we should.
So as we said, that's it, folks. Thanks for listening. Follow us on Facegram and Instabook. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and hit us up on our email if you want to disagree with us about anything, in particular whether or not Jealous Guy was a great song. Addresses for the playlists and recommended listening will be in the show notes, as well as all for the Facebook and Instagram. So Rate us on Apple, but be nice, and we'll see you soon. Thanks very much, everybody.